Alright, today we're going to be 100% in completing SpongeBob SquarePants Titans of the Tide. This game came out on November 18, 2025, just a little bit before the new SpongeBob movie. This game is a direct successor of the Cosmic Shake, which I'll 100% on this channel later on. This game follows SpongeBob and Patrick, who are trying to break up fighting between the Flying Dutchman and King Neptune. There are 27 achievements. There are some super easy ones and some that just seem diabolical.
It's evil. It's diabolical. It's lemon-scented. This plan Z can't possibly fail.
Anyway, let's get into completing 100% of this game. If this video hits 5 likes, then I'll do more SpongeBob 100% for your enjoyment. The game starts off with the intro cutscene of Mr. Krabs offering an extra special offer. Wait a minute, did I read that right? Half price. Mr. Krabs, are you okay? Mr. Krabs never offers half price on anything. Even in the movie, he offers a discount where everything is full price.
Beloved fry cook, all Krabby Patties are full price.
So something must be off. Anyway, we have a lot to do before the Krusty Krab opens. Our first task is to talk to Mr. Krabs. He wants us to clean off the tables, which we do. Then Squidward wanted to talk to us about how he didn't do his job, so we gotta do it for him, some lazy person. I proceeded to smack Mr. Krabs for a little bit because of an achievement that I end up getting later. We go around collecting ingredients, and then the Krusty Krab was officially open for business. I start making my famous Krabby Patties when the Flying Dutchman decided he was better and wanted to cut the line, but couldn't. So he waited, then got to the front of the line, and then King Neptune decided to cut in front of him. The Dutchman didn't like that, so they got into a little argument about who's more powerful. The Dutchman shot his flame thing at Neptune, and SpongeBob ended up getting hit himself, which turned him into a ghost. Don't worry, I won't be going into the whole story, just wanted to cover this bit, how he became ghost. After that, Neptune ran, and the Dutchman blew up the Krusty Krab. Now we're playing as the lovable starfish Patrick. Got our first enemy of the game, which I made quick work of. Then we got our second enemy type, which was just a shooter, smashed them, and moved on. As I go over this now, after playing this mission, I never came back here once, which I thought was weird since I missed a lot of items from this level. Talked to Karen, she told me Plankton was in trouble and I need to find him, so that's what I did. Parkoured right over to him. He told me to help him get to the Krusty Krab, which I did after jumping from platform to platform. I finally got to the Krusty Krab, and that's when I met our next enemy type, a big guy called the Grand Slammer. After I defeated the almighty Denny's Grand Slam, I climbed this anchor and got introduced to the hub area of the game, Floating Patty. Now I can switch between SpongeBob and Patrick. That's when I got my first achievement, Best Friends Forever. Did the task of destroying the ballast. Talked to Pearl to get our first costume. I need everything in the shop for 100%, so I worked on that throughout the game. I then traveled to our first level, Goldfish Island. The issue with this game that I have is you kind of have to know a little bit about the Cosmic Shake to play this, since a lot of the abilities are from that game, like the jump karate kick and a couple others. But anyway, I talked to the captain, then talked to Mr. Krabs, you know, the usual stuff for the story to progress. I then took a photo for my next achievement, which was cheese. Got introduced to surfboarding, which I did. I made my way over to the lighthouse, but first I saw this little thing in the corner and surfboard to it. It was a TV. It bestowed Hoff's wisdom upon me. I needed 10 of these scattered throughout the levels for achievement, so I made note of that. Also, I haven't mentioned this, but there's an achievement, catch 100 jellyfish, so I'm doing that throughout the game. Popped my first gold balloon and opened my first chest, which contains some regular stuff like coins and items for the shop. I have to do these for 100%, so I'm not going to go through all the chest and balloons, just, you know, the ones that are majority. Made my way to the lighthouse, smacked a wheel to turn it on.
SpongeBob.
Saw there was an icon above Mrs. Puff, went over to see what she needed. In this game, there are side quests for NPCs. Mrs. Puff's quest was to clean trash around the island. I then went over to Larry for another quest. His quests are mostly just races, so I completed the race as a true gamer, unlocked his chest, and then I went around collecting chests and smashing trash for a little bit. I then unlocked my third achievement, Woohoo, for traveling 2,000 meters with the ghost board. Squidward has a task for me to help him with his art. That's what I did, art. Then I finally went back over to Captain Goldie to continue the main quest. Also, from some of these chests, I was getting these white icon looking things. At the time, I didn't know what they were used for. I thought they was just straight up trash. But later I found out I need it for 100%. Found this fish, throwing it back on another fish like he's in the club. Carried on with my day. Talked to Pearl and Mr. Krabs to our new area, the jungle. Found a fish that was trying to get off the island and wants us to find his ticket. Parkoured through the jungle, and that's where we found our next enemy type, Old Boomer. Made quick work of him and moved on. More platforming throughout the level. Found Mr. Krabs with the gold the captain was saying was real the whole time. Krabs found out it wasn't real, so he tasked us with opening up the waterfall to find the real stuff. Did more platforming and surfing throughout the level. Then I saw Mr. Krabs get taken by a chest. This was my first boss battle, the Dutchman's chest. He had a couple of phases. The first phase had a couple of attacks. He shot little Dutchman heads, which I dodged easily. Then he shot goo with the explosive barrels inside that I picked up with Patrick and threw at the chest. And then I was able to hit the top of the head with a karate kick from SpongeBob. Phases 2 and 3 had the same attacks, plus one where he spins in a circle shooting flames, which I jumped over or burrowed under with Patrick. Finished him off and earned my 4th achievement, not all gold that glitters. Then after beating the boss, I decided to do my 2nd race, cleaned up the rest of the trash for Mrs. Puff, returned the ticket to Fred for the 5th achievement, Bummer Vacation, and that was it for Goldfish Island. I'll have to come back here later to clean up the rest. Alright, now we go back to the hub, and we're kind of just cleaning up some stuff. Obviously, we don't finish everything in this part, but we do try to do a little bit of it. But I got my next achievement for hitting 100 NPCs, Agents of Chaos. Then did a little bit of Plankton's challenge. I need these for achievement later, so I figured doing some now was good. These challenges mostly contain 3 things: race, kill all ghosts, and catch all jellyfish. They aren't really challenges, since it's just more of a finish the objective. You can set a best time, but I wish it was more like a time trial instead. Then I did Sandy's challenges, and those were, for some reason, a lot harder. I feel like the button wouldn't let me jump sometimes when I was on the acorn, but after a bunch of fails, I finished the race. Talked to Sandy and Krabs, who let me know my next destination, Neptune's Palace. Now that I'm in Neptune's Palace, we're going to be pretty much crashing this party. So I went to the front door and discovered the next map ability, a jar of liquid that I smack to make things disappear, and depending on which way it is, some things will disappear. So if something's green, it will disappear if blue's active. If it's blue, it will disappear when green's active. For example, it's kind of hard to explain, but they want us to find snail bits, so we make sure to keep a note on that throughout the missions. Made my way into Neptune's Palace, asked around for help. Now I had to get Neptune's pajamas. So I finished the bathroom section as the Plumber B team in Neptune's Palace, and that's where I found the last new enemy type, Wiggy. After defeating him, I got my last ability, blowing bubbles from a distance, which is helpful. Made my way through the palace with platforming and defeating ghosts. Oh, also while going through the palace, I saw this picture of David Hasselhoff depicted as like a Jesus character, which is great. I found the pajamas for Patrick to wear, went down the toilet, and saw King Neptune disguised as a merperson. The Flying Dutchman showed up, turned Neptune's family into ghosts, and they ended up getting into a big fight, and that's where we go into our next area. Catacombs of Atlantis City. So this area has the same tactics as Neptune Gallows, so there wasn't really anything interesting going on pretty much the entire time. It was just pretty much a breeze the entire time. This is where I got my next achievement, Catch Me If You Can, for defeating an old boomer ghost with its own cannonball 5 times. This level was pretty straightforward. Platforming, found Madame Cassandra from the last game, which I will go over this channel eventually. Freed her, rolled on a rock for a bit, then I made it to the Coliseum, where I fought King Neptune's statue. This fight was a lot more fun than the chest, and it reminds me of a lot SpongeBob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom's boss fights. His moves were a lot different. I defeated him, got the achievement Shiny, Muscular, and Deadly, and headed back to the floating battery. I took a break from the worlds to do Larry's race and some of Plankton's challenges. As I was talking to Sandy, we got hit with Flying Dutchman's power, and it knocked SpongeBob, Patrick, and Sandy off the ship, and we ended up landing in Jellyfish Fields, which was covered in snow. Now I'm with Sandy, who directed me to catch 10 yellow jellyfish. Did that after a detour of doing some random stuff around the island. Climbed up a mountain, and that's when SpongeBob and Patrick had a fight scene since something happened to Sandy, and they were trying to figure out what happened to him. SpongeBob wanted to find her while Patrick wanted ice cream, so they split up. Played with just SpongeBob for a bit in the caves. Patrick found his ice cream, and they made up. so back to playing with both characters. Saw a couple more things on the way to the top, saw some scary claw marks and Patrick's booty cheeks. One was cooler than the other. Finally made it to the top where I was going to fight the Jellyfish King, but then Sandy dropped down, somehow breathing water, so Dirty Dan and Pinhead Larry had to fight Hibernation Sandy. She was a way cooler boss fight than the chest and statue, but still had it easy enough to attacks to dodge. Got the achievement Survival with the Idiots after defeating her. Alright, we head into our next area, which is Bikini Bottom. Also, remind me to do better with recording in the future because I started doing the last mission world, but completely forgot to record.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
I did complete 2 achievements, So Much Destruction for destroying 500 objects, and Keep Digging for burrowing out the stuck citizens of Goldfish Island and Bikini Bottom. So don't hate me because I already hate myself for doing that. Also, this mission lets me collect our first and only golden spatula for achievement. Only a fry cook who is worthy. This spatula is insane. It gives me a one-hit kill on most enemies. This makes the game basically just a collectathon instead of defeating enemies now. After that, the last battle has King Neptune and Flying Dutchman attacking us for some reason. I know the whole story is them fighting each other, but why attack me? I had nothing to do with the cut in line for Krabby Patty part. Took each of them down. They had almost the same moves as the statue in the chest, just with a couple more to make it more intense. Took them down, they stopped fighting, and SpongeBob threatened them to clean up the town. Also super funny that I had the man costume on while SpongeBob was going to town on him. That was the end of the main story. I have my thoughts on the story, but I'll save for the end of the 100% grind, since I wanted to group everything together. Alright, all I had left was some challenges and cleaning up the rest of the achievements for this, since the main story is completed. I started with more Plankton's challenge, which did get harder and harder as I continued. Squidward's challenges gave me a hard time since there was a spot where a block disappeared every time I tried jumping on it. After a couple tries, I finally beat it with a measly time of 5 minutes and 49 seconds. The third Squidward mission was pretty easier, and I finished it quickly. I did Mr. Krabs' challenges, which were just defeating the 3 bosses again. Same fights, just a little bit more difficult with some basic enemies or longer attack patterns. Made quick work of these. Then I did something that I wish I didn't do, was start the DLC. I thought you had to do these to 100%, but after looking back and going through after doing this, you don't. So I don't know why I started them. This wasn't very different from the main story, and the boss at the end was just standard enemies with increased health, so this wasn't very fun. This was 40 minutes of my life wasted for nothing. I don't mind doing DLC for other games, but even if they don't have achievements attached to them, if the DLC is not fun, I'm not going to do it. So like, for example, this, I'm not going to do the rest of them because they weren't very fun. If they're more fun, I would obviously go through and complete each one to 100% the DLC. But since these aren't fun and they're not tied to any achievements, I'm not going to go through them and do them. There was an achievement that I had to do, which was probably the hardest in the game. Get a score of 999 by making Krabby Patty. This game mode is just quick button pressing minigame, and it took so long. Oh, we're already done? And on the first try? I thought this would take longer. Okay, this was one of the easier achievements. Chef's Kiss. My next task was to 100% each story area, so I went to Goldfish Island first, where I collected chests, popped gold balloons, grabbed TVs, and did some side missions. These were the longest grinds since I had to look at a guide for most of them, but I completed Goldfish Island at 100%. Neptune's Palace was more of the same. Smacked some chests, popped gold balloons, and did side missions. Could 100% this one since I needed all the TVs, which I haven't collected yet, so I have to come back. I collected another achievement, Exquisition Shenanigans, for helping Gary and Squilliam. Atlantis City was more of the same. This time I caught my 100th jellyfish for the achievement Firmly Grasp It. Then got the achievement from Dungeon the Crawler by giving Tom his chocolate and Karen's spot. Jellyfish Fields was, you guessed it, more of the same. Chests, balloons, missions, collected all of Sandy's clothes for her achievement, but it didn't pop up until I gave it to her personally, so I 100%ed Jellyfish Fields and moved straight to Bikini Bottom, where I got the most totally awesome perfect race achievement for completing all races. Talked to Sandy after 100% in Bikini Bottom, which gave me the achievement They Don't Call Me Cheeks for Nothing. Alright, now it's just miscellaneous stuff since I 100%ed each level. I bought my 16th underpants piece for the all maxed out achievement, then decided to head back to Neptune's Palace to probably watch the best thing ever. In this secret area, Dave Hasselhoff sang the greatest piece of media ever created, so I watched it in all of its glory, collected the achievement The Wisdom. Now I just needed 6 more achievements to 100% the game. Did more chest chest collecting on the ship, Plankton's Challenge, which earned me Hoarder for opening all chests, and another achievement for completing all of Plankton's Challenge called Did All Those Things. Unlocked all costumes and items in the shop for the achievement Dash in Fashion, and Make Mr. Krabs Rich for purchasing all items from the shop. This earned me the 100% achievement I Did Everything. I had one more achievement though. So hard and so tedious. Just kidding. It was to throw 20 ghosts into the goo on Goldfish Island, which I did. Turned me the achievement and final achievement of this game, Cool Them Off. That was 100% of SpongeBob SquarePants Titans of the Tide. In retrospect, I would give this game probably a 6.5 out of 10. This game is still fun and does have that SpongeBob feel to it, but it does feel like an extension to the Cosmic Shake rather than its own thing, which I will eventually 100% on this channel. I do feel like the story could have been better, and I don't like some of the aspects of the story of the Neptune and Flying Dutchman kind of fighting me, even though they were fighting between each other. I don't know. But if you like this video and you want to see me do more SpongeBob games, then smash that like button, and I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.